William Blair, Chief, Toronto City Police, et al. If you think or assume you're representing me, you're fired, okay? That's exactly what they're doing if you think about it. So so back to this, if I can get a copy of their oath, I'll send them a copy of their oath. If I can't, I give them an oath. That's not a problem. And matter of fact, it's a lot easier just to give them an oath. The oath of office supersedes everything else. The oath of office is your trump card, okay? That's the one that you got them right where it hurts. And they know it.
In candidate's allegiance.
Whatever, it's still an oath.
difference.
Still an oath, and it's still it's implied that they're supposed to protect your rights. Equality under the law is paramount. Okay, this is paragraph 2. This is essentially saying that if you're going to have to send me to a mental institution, you have to go there too. This is the way you defeat that. They sent my brother to a mental hospital because they said he was nuts, and then my brother stayed there for 30 days, and he came out of there and they put a 4-page report, and they said that basically there's nothing wrong with him. He just thinks a little bit different than the rest of us do. And so then the Crown prosecutor wanted a plea bargain, right? So then my brother said, you went and stuck me in that mental hospital for 30 days, now you want a plea bargain it? He says, I want this case dismissed, and he turned around and walked right out, and the case disappeared. Anyways, this defeats a strategy they have. That's one of the things they try and do. Competence, incompetence, and representation, okay? Paragraph 3 through 6. That's one of the things they do, okay, is you have to assert yourself, okay? If they're making legal representations for you, then they're treating you like you're incompetent, okay? Remember, when you hire a lawyer, right, they tell you got to have a lawyer, right? Well, they're treating you like you're an imbecile, right? And so you got to tell them, I am competent, and you're not competent. You got to say the words. That's all. Just say the words. You're not competent, and I am. And you don't have any right to make a legal determination for me. And if you think you're representing me, you're fired. And you just got to go through and say the words. And when you make application for anything, you're giving them a power of attorney, and they're making legal determinations for you, and you're giving them the right to be competent. Paragraph 7, copyright. This, to me, is one of the most powerful things, because then I can send them an invoice and do commercial liens and just stir up all sorts of trouble. It's up to you whether you want to do it, and it's common law, okay? You don't need their permission. You know, I've heard of people saying, well, the copyright statute doesn't allow that. Well, I don't care what the copyright statute says. It's common law, and I've talked about it in court, and everybody falls silent, doesn't want to talk about that. It's a major deterrent, since they're in business to make a profit. It's up to you whether you do it. Paragraph 8, make them communicate under penalty of perjury. That hurts them big time, because if they can't communicate without making it under penalty of perjury, well, they're all liars. So they can't lie anymore. Well, then they're screwed, aren't they? Matter of fact, who was it? Somebody was telling me recently that a lawyer actually admitted. Oh, I think it was Roger in BC. Told me that a lawyer actually admitted to him that any court case is about the lawyers and who can lie the best. So why am I not surprised? Anyways, okay, so it makes it very difficult to them since they can't lie anymore. Copyright. This is providing notice that your straw man's name is copyrighted, and if they use it, it's essentially an offer of contract. Now, so then, all you have to do, if you think about it, you give them notice, okay? You're hereby notice that this name's copyrighted. And then they use it, well, that's an offer of contract. And so, sure, no problem, I accept your offer of contract, here's your invoice for $10 million. Please pay it right away. Lets them know that you're going to hold them and everybody in their chain of command personally responsible. Zip codes, postal codes are all martial law. Do you live in a martial law jurisdiction? And you basically put them on notice that I don't live in your martial law jurisdiction and you can't send mail to me in this martial law jurisdiction. And then when they do, I just put on it, no such person at this address. Oh, I make a photocopy of it first and then file a criminal complaint against them and send them back to them. Huh?
That squiggly thing after the USC, what does that signify?
That means section.
Section.
That's just a symbol for section.
Okay.
Paragraph 13 to 15 makes it very clear up front that you're not interested in being a surety or accommodation party. Now, if you guys want to send me an email, I'll send you Word versions of these documents, or I'll send you PDF ones that I've done, whichever way you want it. You know, and then you can manipulate them. If they ever get you into one of their so-called contracts, this is another piece of proof of their perjury of oath. I tell them I don't have a driver's license. There's no requirement for me to have a driver's license, and I put in some stuff about in the Interpretation Act and the Traffic Safety Act that says that I'm not that only a person and a corporation have to have a driver's license anyways.
So
you know,
here in Alberta, it's the operator's license.
Well, actually, Traffic Safety Act talks about driver's license.
But what you hold in your possession is an operator's license.
Oh, well, whatever.
They're ambiguous.
Yeah, whatever. They always ask for a driver's license. They always ask for a driver's license. So then you can say, well, I don't have a driver's license even if you're the straw man because there's not a driver's license, isn't it?
That's right.
Okay. Driver's license is color of law. There's no authority to require one, and you do not have, even though your straw man might have one. Make up your own picture ID. Land titles is a miscellaneous category that should be used for this. Land titles needs to be trained. They won't let you file them there, but I've heard the PPSA will let you. So whatever. I mean, as long as it's a government document, as long as it's got the government stamps and stuff like that on it, then it's recorded into the public. And you can also record them in the U.S. Person's a fictitious entity, and that's that paragraph talks about that I'm not a person, and it's got court citations that talk about it. And paragraph 19 of motor vehicles commercial, that's in the States.
And
Private vehicle?
And Alberta.
Well, it is.
In
Well,
their statutes, I
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, a private vehicle, huh?
Do you not need a driver's license to drive a commercial vehicle then? That's what I was,
Yes,
Sorry?
you do.
if you're driving a commercial vehicle, you need a driver's license.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You're in commerce.
But
So if you're working for somebody, you gotta produce that driver's.
if you're working for someone in California, what they do is the tractor trailer driver will buy his load at point A,
Yeah, I've heard this.
and then he travels on the public highway with his private property, point B, and then he sells his load at point B,
I've heard him do
and then he doesn't need registration, as long as you buy it. But if you're doing it for hire, then it's commerce, okay? Okay, I've seen vehicles in Arizona, their registration's been expired for many years with private vehicle on them. If you put, the reason I put, and that's what this is here, private vehicle sticker,
Yeah.
I got one on my truck out there.
Is it okay to use the word vehicle though?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah?
What I'm essentially saying is it's not a motor vehicle.
You could
It's
put
private
private
vehicle.
auto, right?
Huh?
Private auto or
Private conveyance.
automobile.
Private conveyance, whatever you want. I serve them with these documents saying private vehicle. So you could actually take advantage of the documents that I've already served on them by putting private vehicle on your vehicle. But, I mean, you can put whatever you want, but you gotta serve them with notice. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I've already served them with notice talking about private vehicle. And so you could use my documents and my proof of service saying that, and use it as your proof that they were served with it when they perjure their oath of office with you. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to you though how you wanna handle it.
All manufacturers produce their cars with the word vehicle on there. It only becomes a motor vehicle when it's registered.
It's a passenger vehicle out of the
Before
gates.
it's registered, that's right.
Yeah, out of the factory, it's a passenger vehicle. When you register it, it's a motor vehicle.
Yeah, no doubt, which is in commerce.
Yeah.
Either way, it's commerce.
Okay, a friend of mine in the States told me a cop came up to him and said, "Why is my computer telling me to leave you alone?" When I was in New York, I was doing 85 and a 55. And I came around this corner and I was going the speed of the rest of the traffic actually. But I was the guy out front. And I come around this corner and there was a highway patrol there. And I had already sent him one of my notices. And his cherries come on. I took my foot off the brake, but I never hit I took my foot off the gas, I should say. I never hit the brake, and my vehicle slowed down. The cop never came after me. I slowed down to 55 and then kept on going. The cop never came after me. You see him stopping other people. I have a feeling they got me in one of their databases there, leave this guy alone, but I don't know. Another time I was in New York and I was doing about 80 in a 65. And it was about 4 o'clock in the morning and there was like about 5 cars on the freeway. And I was going into work. And I had my cruise set. I didn't even have my foot, I had my cruise set. And I was just cruising along listening to music, you know. And I was passing this guy. And he was going, he must have been doing about 77, because I was just kind of inching past him. And this other car comes up, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still dark out, right? This other car comes ripping up behind me and gets right up, I got a pickup truck, right? So his headlights disappeared behind my tailgate, right? So that's how close he was to me, right? And I just left my truck and cruise, and I just inched past this guy beside me, and I moved over into the slow lane, and this guy passed me, and it was a cop. He had to know how fast I was going because I was holding him up.
Yeah, they can do it.
Yeah, but so the point is, I think that, you know, I don't know,
He was late for donuts.
maybe he was.
Were his eyes glazed?
This paragraph 22, you're not authorized to serve commercial process on me. Everything they do is commercial. And so it defeats them, again, okay? They don't have authority. If you don't put it in there, they can presume they do. Oh yeah, we thought we could enter into a commercial transaction with you. We thought you wanted to enter into a commercial transaction. You know, you didn't tell us we couldn't, right? Think about it. Demand that they protect you. Canada is foreign to Alberta. Think about it. Canada is foreign to Alberta. Province of Alberta is a municipal corporation. It's a sub-corporation of a municipal corporation called Canada. If you look on any ticket, and I can show you one, in my criminal complaints, it says Province of Alberta, and then below that, Canada in all block capital letters. It's all Canada. I don't care who the city police is. He's working for Canada. He has no authority on the land of Alberta. Their legislation is color of law. They have no authority whatsoever. Canada is a municipal corporation domiciled in the District of Columbia. Canada and all its officers are subject to United States Code. The FBI has offices in Ottawa, Toronto, and Vancouver. I don't know if you knew that.
So did the DEA.
Yeah, no doubt. I've heard that there's out in BC, there's some people that are complaining about
So do
that.
the what?
The DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency of the United States.
Canada is part of the United States. Paragraph 29, the use of codes, rules, and regulations. If you use their codes, rules, and regulations, they can presume you're an entity that's subject to said codes, rules, and regulations. So I have a little, I've collected a lot of this stuff over the years. This is pretty good. I'm kind of proud of this one. Says here, William Blair, Chief, Toronto City Police, et al., are further noticed that the use of any codes, rules, statutes, codes, rules, regulations, or court citations within any document created by me at any time is only noticed that which is applicable to you, and it is not intended, nor shall it be construed to mean that I have conferred to, submitted to, or entered into any jurisdiction alluded to thereby.
Right on.
Yeah, I kind of like that one. And I can't
That's your
take credit for it. Somebody sent it to me. I got it over the internet.
That's your disclaimer.
Yeah, you bet. And so it's amazing. Some of the stuff I've collected is just stuff that just landed in my lap. I'm telling you. And like I got this court case on martial law that's just kicked butt, and I use it all the time. Anyways,
The deed case?
Diet versus Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. You read that thing?
3/4 of it.
I mean, there's so much stuff that's just so juicy that you can take into a court case, you know? Anyways, it talks about commercial law, but talks about municipal law, that they're using municipal law to enforce their martial law.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, it's exactly the stuff that's going on. You see it all over. Commercial paper. If they receive commercial paper as compensation, then they're a municipal corporation, by definition. That's why you need to have a compensation contract that talks about coin.
The word municipal has its basis in military, munitions.
Right, yeah.
That includes digits too,
Digits?
digits.
Huh?
Digits from your debit card or, you know.
Okay.
Computer digits.
Right.
'Cause
Well, a lot of
that's
those
on
words,
paper.
a lot of those words are used in martial law. You know, it's amazing. Commissioner, that's a martial law position, commissioner. Insurance, bonds, that's all martial law. It's amazing how much stuff is martial law and we just, you know, it's all over, we just didn't recognize it, you know. The law of nations. In order for a nation to exist, it takes three things: people, land, and resources, gold or silver. The only legitimate power held by any government is power that we, the people, delegated. Okay? Well, think about it. And I can show you court cases that talk about this. Matter of fact, there's a court case there. That's paragraph 34. If I delegated certain power to the government, well, I can still do it. I gave them authority to do it on my behalf, but I can still do it for myself. What's stopping me from doing it myself? Nothing. Also, I can say, well, you don't have that authority anymore.
Yeah, you can change your mind.
That's what happens when you delegate. Unalienable rights cannot be unalienated under any circumstances. They're not inalienable. Inalienable rights, and this is the little trick that the thieving bar members try to play, because they go and convert unalienable to inalienable, and then inalienable can be alienated based on a presumed contract. A law merchant contract's a nullity. A presumed contract is perjury of oath. A common law contract's the only valid contract between living souls. Because the only thing that can be involved, if you read their Uniform Commercial Code, it talks about persons. So you have to be a person to be involved in law merchant. So how can you possibly, as a living soul, be involved in law merchant? You have to be a person. That's why they had to get everybody to go out and get social insurance numbers. And anything else is a nullity. I've seen Crown prosecutors go into court and say that. Say, there's no contract here, that's a nullity. Oh, okay. Another thing I tell them is I have the right to resist unlawful arrest with lethal force if necessary. I'm kind of in your face sort of guy. Where an officer is killed in the course of the disorder which naturally accompanies an attempted arrest that is resisted, the law looks with very different eyes upon the transaction when the officer had the right to make the arrest from what it does when the officer had no right. What may be murder in the first case may be nothing more than manslaughter in the other, or the facts might show that no offense had been committed at all. Yes?
Notice how they call it a transaction?
Yes. Ain't that the
Commerce.
truth? That's right.
Yeah, section 39 of the criminal code is quite explicit about that. You can't be convicted of using whatever reasonable force is necessary to maintain possession of your property, even against a person with force of law.
Yeah.
That's right.
Definitely.
That's right. And that's why I wanna start putting in here stuff about like claim of right. I wanna start putting claim of right in there, and I wanna start bringing up, because that's section 39 actually is one thing I'm putting in my lawsuit, that if they make a legal determination for me to represent me, then I'm gonna arrest them, because for a unprovoked assault upon my rights.
It's important to note that a claim of right doesn't have to be in writing. You can say it right in front of the guy, this is my property under claim of right, done.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
holding it under claim of right.
I agree, and technically, this is a notice and demand, technically, that's a claim of right, even though it doesn't say the words. But I wanna put the words in there, and again, I'm building a case against them. Yes, did you have something?
My friend in Red Deer just had his mobile home seized by a RCMP officer and a bailiff, and he has a claim of right, and he had a spy pen on the camera and a mic, and the RCMP officer just, he says to the RCMP guy, he says, do you realize that you are in breach of section 39 of the criminal code, that you're breaking the law? He says, yes, I realize that. 3 times, he got him 3 times on the microphone.
Right on.
But they took it anyways, but he said, He says, you realize that it's section 39 entitles me to, even if you have a valid claim, doesn't matter. If I have a claim of right, and I'm in peaceful possession, that I can, resist with force. And he says, I don't care what you say, he says, this property's leaving here. The cop acknowledged it from the RCMP.
And just didn't care.
With my snowmobile.
I guess it's time for a break.
Yeah, let's take 10 minutes and come back.
Paragraph 41, I talk about any restraint upon my liberty is an arrest. And I got court cases that talk about that. Let me read you something. Here's any restraint, however slight, upon another's liberty to come and go as one pleases constitutes an arrest. And this is an Arizona court case. So anyways, paragraph 46, sign and seal in red ink on the land. Again, and it's on the right-hand side. That's right.
From the US state.
If you see anything from a judge or any court, it'll always be signed on the right-hand side of the page. And I always put down the sign in red ink on the land. The red ink is because red ink is signed is by sovereigns, and on the land, which means it's not in a corporation. I like to use at least 2 witnesses, preferably 3 or more. And if I can get 26, that'd be even better, because then I can demonstrate that I can convene a grand jury. I always send my notice and demands by registered mail. A registered mail is kept under lock and key, and there's a chain of custody. A better way to effect service is by personal service with 2 or 3 people, which will witness each make an affidavit of service. But or you can get a process server, but that could get kind of expensive. The object is to build a case against them, and they know it. If they do anything other than grovel, file a criminal complaint. Let them prove they're honoring their oath of office, attach your evidence, send the criminal complaint to their boss. If possible, record the criminal complaint into the public. I've got copies of my criminal complaints in my paperwork here. The books are $100 for the binding and the tabs and everything. If you wanted just the paperwork, it's $60. That's basically the cost of copying. And there's a lot of, yeah, it's 2 sides. Each page has got stuff on both sides. And so that's what that is, but there's copies of all that stuff, everything in the paperwork here. And if possible, record the criminal complaint into the public. After 30 days, add their boss as an accomplice after the fact to the next criminal complaint, send it to the next boss up the chain of command with a notice and demand, which you demand they remove and prosecute their criminal. And in that case, I send the same notice and demand. I just add in another paragraph at the end saying, you got a criminal that's operating as following the affidavit of criminal complaint, a true copy of which is attached here to and incorporated herein by reference in its entirety. I hereby demand that you prosecute this criminal, or something like that. Just add in a paragraph.
Can people use your already filed notices, which are numerous, and claim themselves as co-claimants under you?
I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I don't have a problem. I mean, I can send you electronic copies, and you could say we know that this was served on you, and I'm hereby claiming all the rights. You probably have to send them notice. You really couldn't file a criminal complaint against them until you got to take away their presumption. Still, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying piggybacking on top of what.
You
Now we're associated. We're all part of the same club.
Sure.
Numbers get bigger.
I don't see a problem. I mean, I do that like that so that other people can benefit from it.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. It's up to you.
So Glenn?
Yes.
The paperwork then for you're traveling, could we get a copy of that, what you sent to the police, and so on, so they left you alone? Calgary?
The what?
The police, when you were traveling?
The
Agreements that you had sent to the police?
The notice, I sent them a notice and demand. I can send you a copy, send me an email.
Okay, I'll do that.
I got them too.
Okay.
I can send you copies, but I send them a notice and demand. It's the same thing. And then I send them by registered mail, so there's proof of service.
Okay.
And, that's it. It's a standard form. I just customize it for every one of them. Okay, and the important thing is you're making it between me and you, Mr. Public Official. It's personal. See what I'm saying? So you personalize it, you put their name on every paragraph. You, Joe Smith, Attorney General, I'm holding you accountable. You see what I'm saying?
So if we could put a cover sheet that said, you know, further to the attached, I also agree to everything that sorry, of the Fern House.
Glenn
agrees.
Winningham, House of Fern?
Yeah, House of Fern. And I would like to enter an agreement with you too, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like just piggyback it?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's not an agreement. I mean, I don't call it an
Notice-
agreement,
notice of
it's a
demand.
demand.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not negotiable. That's why I put on it, it's not negotiable. It says right on the front, non-negotiable. Notice and demand, okay? This is instructions from the boss. And so, that's what it is.
You could say it's agreed that you have received this notice of complaint, and since you never refuted any of the facts within the notice of complaint, it is assumed you agree with it. If you fail to get back to me that you did not agree with this notice of complaint, I will assume that you did. There's your agreement.
Yeah, you certainly could do that. Anyways, okay, so after 30 days, add their boss as an accomplice after the fact to the next criminal complaint, send it to the next boss up the chain of command with a notice and demand that they remove and prosecute their criminal. Keep on going up the chain of command up to and including the Queen. Add the Queen, record the document into the public, send her a copy. I'm kind of an in-your-face sort of guy, you know what I mean? Always use registered mail or personal service and witnesses. The Queen has decided recently not to just rubber stamp whoever the Prime Minister recommends for Governor General. The Queen is not happy with what's happening. The Queen wants to effect change. Manure rolls downhill.
Where did you hear that, Glenn?
Where did I hear what?
The Queen.
Well, you know that they've got a new Governor General, right?
I did, I gave it.
But he's handpicked by the Queen. You didn't know that?
I thought it was handpicked by Harvard. That's what the media leads you to believe.
Well, yeah, I heard he was handpicked by the Queen. He's a law professor.
Yes, I know.
And the same lieutenant governor for Alberta is he's a law,
Military.
huh?
He's former military.
Former military, but he's also a lawyer or something like that.
He's a military lawyer.
Right, something like that. I knew he had a lawyer background, okay? So that's telling me that this law professor especially, well, even the one here, the lawyers, they want lawyers, okay? And they want someone that knows the law, you know, has an oath of office. They have an oath of office anyways, but they want someone that knows the law. The last guy they had in here, Kwong, I mean, he was a football player. You know, what's he know about the law? You know what I mean?
Touchdown.
The joke.
And the last guy in the federal side was what?
Dion.
Huh?
Jean.
Michelle Jean, and she didn't have a clue about anything either.
Yeah, they're picking the worst positions.
Yeah, well, that was the prime ministers that were doing that, and the premiers were getting these political appointees, their buddies that they wanted to appoint. And now the Queen is saying, no, you know, I don't want one of your political cronies in there. I want someone in there that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, well, Jacques Demers, coach of the Red Wings, is now in the political party or in the political wing of Senate. He was put in.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, she doesn't have any control over that, but she has control over who's the Governor General and the Lieutenant Governor.
The last one said she was.
Did you have something?
Yeah, Larry here sent a letter to the Queen, and maybe I can explain that a little bit to, you know, what the response he got from the Queen.
Uh-huh.
And he mentioned about the